Our essential question for today is, how do I graph and write equations for horizontal and vertical lines? A line with a zero slope. Ladies and gentlemen, on the outside, you need to write horizontal line. A horizontal line is a line with a zero slope. The equation of a horizontal line is written y equals number. That number represents any number that you have on your graph. So in the blank, you need to write horizontal line. Think about this. If a horizontal line has a zero slope, then slope-intercept form would be y equals 0x plus number, which simplifies to y equals number. So in this line, you're going to write 0. So remember, the number is your y-coordinate or your y-intercept. Also, we need you to remember we talked about y-intercept in our previous lesson. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to graph the very first problem. It says graph y equals -3. When you have the letter y and a number, remember your x is always 0 and your y is the number given. Let's begin. The first thing that I do is I write my ordered pair, because in order for you to graph a line, you need a point. My x is 0 and my y is the number given. The same thing for my second graph. My x is 0 and my y is my number given. You take this point and you put it on your graph. Your next problem, that is how you graph a horizontal line. Remember, if you have y equals, then you have a number. Your x is always 0 and your y is the number given. Let's move down to the next problem. It says, write the equation of the line for each graph below. This time, we are given our graph, and you have to write your equation. Remember, your equation always has an equal sign in it, so the first thing that you're going to write is y, and then you're going to write your equal sign. After our equal sign, we're going to write our number, and your number is your y-intercept. That means where does the line hit the y-axis? In this particular graph, my line hits my y-axis at +3, which simply means write 3. I look at my next graph. Again, I start with y equals because an equal sign always represents an equation. Now you're going to look for your y-intercept. In this particular picture, my y-intercept is -8. This, these are the equations for these particular graphs. Remember, y equals and your number means that you have a horizontal line. Let's turn to the next page. A line with a undefined slope. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a vertical line. A line with a undefined slope is a vertical line. The equation of a vertical line is written x equals number. In order for you to have an equation of a vertical line, you have to have the letter x first, your equal sign, and then your number. So on my line, I'm going to write vertical line. Now, our practice problems. The first thing it asks me to do is graph this vertical line. When you're graphing a vertical line, it's just like graphing a horizontal line. Remember, the number given, this is now your x coordinate, so your y coordinate is always 0. My number given is 3, so my x coordinate is 3, my y is 0. For my second graph, my number given is -1. My y coordinate is 0. Now that I have my points, I plot those points on my graph and I graph my line. You have just graphed your vertical line. Now we're going down to the equation. It says write the equation of the graphs below. Remember, when you are writing the equation for a vertical line, you need to write the letter x, equal sign, and the number. You're going to find your number because you're going to use your x-intercept. Your x-intercept is where does the line cross or meet the x-axis. And in our case, in our first graph, our x-intercept is 9. So our equation is x equals 9. In my second graph, my x-intercept is -4. So our equation is x equals, let me try that again. X equals -4. These are your two equations. The first one is x equals 9. That's the equation of a vertical line for my first graph. My second one is x equals -4. That's the equation of a line for my second graph. In your summary, now you're going to write 2, possibly 3 sentences summarizing today's lesson. Please include the type of slopes for vertical and horizontal lines, as well as anything else you think you're going to need in order to study and pass your test.